Week 3 is all but in the books, and the anxiety is hitting hard. It's Monday. It's time to vent. It's time to rage. It is absolutely time to second guess every lineup decision we made. Welcome to Monday's Anxiety, where we unpack the pain of Sunday and try to get some relief before the next round of chaos. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Ryan. Good morning, Josh. Good morning, Caesar, over there in the chat already.
Yeah.
Appreciate you. I don't even know where to start after the chaos that we had over the last couple of days and weeks. So, guys, I'll let you start it off, Ryan.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what I was going to get into with the scores, and we'll talk about it more in a few minutes. But what a weird week 3. I thought you said the last couple of weeks. Honestly, I felt week 1 and week 2 went to script. Like, I didn't feel weird after week 1 and week 2. Week 3, shit feels a little weird.
Yeah, these games, like the first half of the 1 o'clock games, I was like, wow, this feels like a snooze fest. And then you want to talk about a tried and true witching hour.
Yeah. No
Holy crap. I was on tilt for most of the Eagles game. I'm not even gonna lie, but this is just like it was crazy. And especially to see 3 of the 1 o'clock games come down to a winning field goal, and 2 of them were blocked kicks.
That's what I'm saying.
That led to them. Like unreal.
7 blocked kicks yesterday. 7 defensive touchdowns.
Yeah, Eagles had 2.
Yep.
Well, let me rephrase that. The Rams had 2 of their kicks blocked.
And then that guy from Minnesota, you brought up 7 defensive touchdowns. That guy from Minnesota had back-to-back touchdowns and had a pass breakup on the very next drive as well.
Outscored the Bengals by himself.
Yeah. Well, yeah. and the Falcons. Shout out Millie.
Ooh. Yeah, we talked about this yesterday, Ryan. I wasn't going to bring it up, but since
I want Millie to know, Millie, I associate certain people with certain teams, and you have become the Falcons for me. So I immediately texted this show chat. Millie's down bad right now.
Well, I was down bad because of these guys on Saturday. And,
you're welcome.
Josh over there, gloating all day long. But now it gets better because now I get to worry about these guys without a Mike Evans. And we got to face Josh's Eagles this coming week. So, man, I don't even know. So let's get to the recap right away, Ryan. What do you say?
Yeah, strange week. Started on Thursday. Things kind of went to script on Thursday. 31-21, Bills take down the Dolphins. Then we get to Sunday rather. The Vikings beat the hell out of the Bengals. More on that later. 48-10. Jaguars and Texans went how we expected. 17-10. Jags take the win at home. Colts continue red hot. 41-20 over the Titans. Commanders, it doesn't matter who their quarterback is. 41-24 over the Raiders. As Josh pointed out, as we will talk about shortly, Eagles 33, Rams 26. A lot of people, if you don't watch Red Zone, might have thought that game was going to end 27-26 or 29-27. It's 33-26. It was an interesting ending. The Falcons decided they were taking a bye a little bit early this week. So Panthers win that game 30-0. First shutout of the season, I believe. Steelers 21, Patriots 14, Browns 13, Packers 10. Upset of the week for sure. As Jay pointed out, Buccaneers hold off the Jets despite losing Mike Evans 29-27. Chargers 23. Broncos 20, Seahawks 44 to the Saints 13, Bears 31. Cowboys only managed 14 points, and we saw a little Joe Milton sighting. 49ers 16, Cardinals 15. Talk about a snooze fest. And then last night wasn't much better. Chiefs do avoid the 4 consecutive losing streak. Win the game against the Giants 22-9. We got Ravens and Lions tonight to wrap up week 3. Oh, you're muted, Jay. I was like, what is happening?
Absolute snooze fest last night.
Yeah.
God, dog.
Quite literally for me, people don't need to know my life, but I stayed up way too late playing a video game. I am obsessed with this Expedition 33 game. That game put me instantly to sleep. I saw none of that game last night.
You didn't miss anything. You didn't miss a thing.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord. Don't forget to like and subscribe for us here on YouTube. Make sure if you have questions, if you have something you need to get done tonight, start sets, whatever, hit that super chat, jump you right to the front of the line. Before we get into the man of the hour, Josh, let us know about Trophy Smack.
Yeah, absolutely. The fantasy football season is here, and Trophy Smack is where you want to get all of your rewards. They have trophies, rings, championship belts, all of it designed to tell your league mates who the real champion is. And you know what? While you're basking in your own victories, show a little love to your commissioners for the thankless jobs that they have. Feel free to hit the link in the description of this podcast to check out some of the swag that you can get both yourself and your commish. Just remind them who the second most important person in the league is. All of it is available at trophysmack.com/club fantasy.
George jumps in and says he was on a work call at 10, panicking. He was going to miss the show today. Figured out that it started at 10 o'clock.
Good, my friend.
Yeah, well, we start every show at 11 o'clock here on the East Coast, George. 0-3, fam, rise up. That sounds like another Falcons fan.
Ryan in the listener league, man. 0-3, baby. It's a lock. I am terrible in listener leagues.
Steve-O says he lost Najee Harris. Bench players find depth. Waiver options are bad. Get with us tomorrow. Ryan and Josh will go over your waiver wire ads. George coming back. Traded Worthy for Pearsall straight up at 12:30 yesterday. Glad to know.
Looking good right now, yeah.
Down bad starting the Falcons.
They were on my stream list. Joe tried to talk me into making them stream of the week during the show. Thank God I didn't listen to that. Not that the 49ers did much better, but they still did better. So
was Penix?
Yeah, I mean, really, you wanted a defense from that Panthers-Falcons game. We just had the wrong one.
You just wanted the worst defense in football. Because football makes perfect sense.
George is down bad streaming Penix yesterday.
I have never before seen a sleeper notification that said a player was removed from the game for bad.
The Steelers-Pats game killed me. Dude had May, Henry, and AJB. Welcome back to the NFL, AJB, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm up by 10 with my opponent having the Lions defense. Does Cap pull it off?
Yeah, because Lions are going to take a negative tonight.
Yeah, Lions not great. And any defense going against the Ravens, you should not love that matchup.
Now, what did the Browns pull off against the Ravens? Because the Browns are a good defense and allowed 4 touchdowns against Lamar Jackson. I'm seconds away from having this up. The Browns defense scored, still scrolling, -1 fantasy point last week. You're fine, my friend.
So,
Jonathan says, lucky for him, he has Pickens and a Benson on his roster.
For everybody who's down bad, there's one person who's up big.
Yeah, right. I don't think Lamb is going to miss any, if much, time. We'll talk about it a little bit later in the unnecessary shot of Rumpelmans, but they're saying it's a high ankle sprain, but it's more of a lower grade.
Yeah.
So it's not, something that'll likely keep him out the more standard 2 to 4 weeks. Maybe he only misses 1 week, or maybe he's able to play through it. But one thing I will caution, high ankle sprains are very finicky. There's definitely a high level of re-aggravation involved with that.
That's the biggest worry for me. This gets into my T. Higgins situation. Do you play him when he's a decoy or can play one snap? I'm not saying yes yet. There's a chance I'm benching CeeDee Lamb in leagues where I have him. So
Jonathan says, between Pickens, Sutton, Mason, and Trey Benson, who would you package to target Puka or Malik Nabers?
Yeah, any and all of them.
Literally whatever.
Puka's an absolute difference maker.
Yep.
Dude is on pace for 164 receptions this year.
Yep.
Let that sink in. 164 receptions.
Not targets, folks.
Receptions. Yeah. He has over 10 catches a game on average. He's averaging over 100 receiving yards per game. Absolute stud.
And then,
if you can find somebody that's actively willing to part with Puka Nacua, good on you.
Yeah.
Be your whole damn roster. Streaming Mariota at the last minute and picking up the Vikings D won me the week.
Nice.
Congratulations. That's some ballsy starts. I love it.
I had the Vikings defense in our Flexible Writers League. Feeling good about that.
And that's a big defensive points league. I made sure of that.
Yeah, it is.
Yep.
Quick question for you guys. George says he's 100% streaming Mariota next week. If Daniels misses, are you guys on board with that?
I don't know who they play. I'm not in any of my week 4 stuff yet. So here's the thing.
They play the Falcons.
Okay. You're streaming.
There is no thing. Yes, you're streaming Mariota. If Bryce Young,
and look, and this is a revenge game for Mariota too. He was their
true.
starter under Arthur Smith. So
it's about to be a revenge game for Kirk Cousins. I mean, technically it is. Never mind. That was a joke that worked out way too well because it is actually a revenge game for Kirk Cousins.
That would mean that Kirk Cousins has to see the field though.
Josh, I don't know if you caught the end of last week's game.
I'm very well aware.
I may see the field.
I don't think they're going to bench Penix, but
what on earth do I do with my running back room? I have Chase Brown, Pollard, and Javonte in my flex, debating trading Pollard for Brees straight up. I don't know if you'll get that done. Is Brown just a straight bench right now?
Yes, Brown is a bench right now, and we warned against that last week. We were wrong about some other stuff, but we did warn against that last week. Brown is a bench. But if you can trade Pollard for Brees all day, I'm making that trade because Josh told you this was going to be a bad game for Brees. Don't let this game influence what Brees Hall is. Brees Hall, I think, is fine. And Pollard hasn't looked great. He obviously had a better week this week, but Pollard hasn't looked great, and they're about to get Tyjae Spears back. Like, Pollard could potentially lose value.
Yeah, with Chase Brown, the fact is running backs with the Bengals just are not very efficient, plain and simple. And
and then when we
saw it on
Jake Browning,
full display. Yeah, they're even worse with Jake Browning. Yeah, 10 rush attempts for 3 yards. Like, not great at all. It doesn't help.
Jamar Chase had more rushing yards than Chase Brown.
Yeah, let that sink in. I mean, he's still getting it done from a pass game perspective, but to me, he downgrades more to an RB2 versus the RB1 that you likely drafted him to be.
George said that'd leave him flexing Pearsall and only starting Brees and Javonte. I think you'd be fine there.
That's you say only that would leave you. That's an ideal situation. Yeah, Javonte Williams is that guy right now. Someone pointed this out on last week's show. Javonte Williams is, 2022 Ezekiel Elliott, where he just kept falling in the end zone. That's what you have right now.
But I'll tell you what, the more I watch Javonte Williams,
oh, you like him now, you motherfucker? I have been on this train.
He's starting to look like the Javonte Williams from North Carolina. Like, now we're talking like, what is this? Like year 3 post knee injury? Like maybe he's got the juice back. I don't know, but the Cowboys, they're running the ball pretty well. So
I think people need to give Michael Carter another chance. These North Carolina backs just take time.
Good Lord. Let's get over to the man of the hour and George piping in saying, we're talking about Trey Tucker, right? The answer is no.
The number one.
I thought about it. I'm not going to lie, but look, let's be honest. This was all garbage time. And no matter how much Trey Tucker helped me take down Sam Holtz in this week's Gods and Goddesses matchup, the man of the hour is Jalen fucking Hurts. After an absolutely abysmal first half for the Eagles offense against the Rams, the Eagles just absolutely erupted, scoring 27 unanswered points to win in thrilling fashion, 33-27. And it was all led by their QB1, Jalen Hurts. 4 total touchdowns, 266 total yards, en route to finishing as the QB2 on the week. Look, for all the haters who say Jalen Hurts isn't a real quarterback, in the second half of this game, he had 208 passing yards and 3 touchdowns to lead the Eagles to a 1-point lead with 1:48 left. And making matters all that better. Remember, Ryan, when you talked about what's wrong with the passing game? Is A.J. Brown dead? He unlocked A.J. Brown, who was the wide receiver 4 on the week. He unlocked Devonta Smith, who was the wide receiver 8 on the week. And all this despite absolutely horrendous play calling in the first half of this game.
Yep.
Hurts is him, and don't you forget it.
I want to throw out I was never worried about Jalen Hurts. I was very worried about these wide receivers.
I mean, he had the one rushing touchdown in the first half, but yeah, it was all passing in the second half.
Yeah, I have no notes to add. I'll just quickly throw in what make me the most happy, Josh, as you're fully aware, is that everybody else ate. Dallas Goedert only caught one ball, but it was a 33-yard touchdown. Both wide receivers over 20 fantasy points. Even Saquon Barkley caught 4 balls. So I'm not mad to see the Eagles playing from behind if it means I get to see some fantasy points for someone other than Jalen Hurts.
I'm literally I'm talking to my friends that are Eagles fans, and we're all sitting here talking about okay, so maybe we just need to be behind so that we can actually learn how to pass the fucking football. I've also seen some rumors floating around that Nick Sirianni pulled play calling in the second half. I don't know how true that is, but I mean, if you go back and you remember Sirianni's first year coaching this team, he gave up play calling in the second half of the season when Shane Steichen took over. That was when we were running more often. When Sirianni was calling plays, we were a much more pass-happy team.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on with Kevin Patullo, but this is what I find absolutely hilarious. And I was talking on Twitter with our good friend Mark Drumheller from over at Fantasy Life. So Kevin Patullo, pass game coordinator, bred and mentored by Nick Sirianni. He's been in this system. He knows it. He's ready for it, right? Let's not forget that Nick Sirianni was not a good play caller. So if not a good play caller is grooming the next play caller, do we honestly think that play caller is going to be good?
Exactly.
This is where we lost the connection here. So yes, Patullo's been in the system. Hasn't really had a good play caller in front of him to be like, hey, you know what? Let me learn a little something from this guy. Precisely. So I don't know what's going on. I think Jalen Hurts just need to go full Peyton Manning here and just be like, I'm calling my own fucking plays.
Well, Josh, I think
that's
you
really
touched on this. It actually might have been Joe who touched on this last week, who gave Eric Bieniemy a little bit of credit for Kansas City.
Yeah.
I think we need to remember that coordinators do matter. And for certain coaches, they matter a lot. We're seeing it in Philadelphia. We're basically seeing it in Kansas City.
Yep. Jay, you're
muted.
The only thing I will add is just for the first half of that game, I would have loved to have been the fly that was right there by Josh's face, watching him on tilt for the first half of that game.
Yep. Like I said, I associate people with teams, and clearly the person who I've spent 3 days a week with for the last 6 years, I associate with the Eagles. I knew he was not in a great mood. So
not a great mood at all. Let's get back over to the questions real quick. Before we get over there, just want to remind everybody, we do have the Discord channel available. Yeah. It is free, as Ryan likes to add. So make sure you jump in with us over there. I did just drop that link in the chat for you. George says, would you just let Chase Brown sit until a good game and then trade him? Or is there anyone out there you'd be willing to trade at rock bottom value?
I'm gonna have to bring my rankings up. I'm not ready for these questions yet. I'm not busting balls. I'm just not ready for these questions yet. Here's the thing. I don't mean to sound condescending, but it's going to come off this way, George. Everybody is going to do what you're trying to do with Chase Brown. And I'm not trying to sound like a dick, but that's exactly what the game plan is going to be. So if you get the right rock bottom value for Chase Brown, if someone thinks you're selling low, but you bring in the right player, I think it might be the move. Now, who to attack is harder. Maybe the ETN manager doesn't think this is going to continue. It is. Maybe the Javonte Williams manager doesn't think this is going to continue. It is. You can't buy Trey Benson right now. Maybe the Travion Henderson manager isn't happy. All of these people I've named, I would be fine asking for plus. Maybe not ETN, but I would ask for Javonte Williams plus. I would ask for Travion Henderson plus if they think you're selling low on Chase Brown. So I think there is credence in moving him now.
So I've seen deals like this go down in the past, and one of my favorite trades happened after week one. We're talking probably like 20 some, almost 20 years ago. But I had somebody, it was the Arian Foster breakout. And straight up, right after week one, they traded Michael Turner for Arian Foster.
Yeah.
And at the time, it was just like, wait, you're trading somebody that has literally never done anything for somebody that is, established. That trade worked out for both teams, right?
Yep.
These are the types of deals that you should be looking into. It's looking at the upstarts that had a good game that you can move for a veteran that everybody thinks will ultimately do well, but they're coming off of a bad game. And I'll even throw some of these guys out. Cam Scatterbo, Tyrone Tracy dealing with an injury. Yep. Scatterbo looks like the real deal. And yes, I'm fully aware that the Giants offense is absolute dog shit. Scatterbo averaged 10 yards per rush 6 yards per rush and 10 yards per catch in this game against a really good Chiefs run defense.
Well, and if Wan'Dale Robinson's hurt, Scatterbo feels like the right guy to fill that role.
To work that underneath role, correct. Yep. You could look at Omarion Hampton with Najee Harris going down, which we're going to talk about here in a little bit. Yes, I understand his value was still pretty high, but again, he hasn't started that well.
Well, that's a good point, Josh.
Look at the rushing, he's averaging less than 4 yards per carry. You could look at Ashton Genty, maybe.
Yeah.
Like buy low on some of these rookies, maybe that people still expect to do well, but people are going to hold Chase Brown in a high regard simply because of that offense. Like it's worth taking flyers on some of these guys. I'm not saying that you won't get, what the fuck, are you crazy? Like auto rejects, that's fine. But make those offers because you never know what will come on the flip side of that.
Yeah, I like Josh's point there because if you can throw in one more piece, a ancillary second piece from your bench that had a good week, then Chase Brown and Trey Tucker for Ashton Genty doesn't look like the craziest trade ever. So,
speaking of Scatterbo, how valuable is he? We haven't seen any news on Tracy.
As I had soured on Tracy after week one. Tyrone Tracy is still a late round converted wide receiver at running back. The Giants still don't throw to their running backs. It has bothered me since last year when I was talking Tyrone Tracy up. Scatterbo is more of a running back that could work in a functional offense. There's going to be bad weeks with Cam Scatterbo. Let's be very clear because of the Giants. But I do think I have a solid RB2 value on him moving forward, Josh.
Yeah, I think he's a top 24 guy with definite top 15 upside depending on the week and the matchup. I truthfully was not expecting much against the Chiefs. I mean, the Chiefs have played good run defense all season long, and this has been a staple with this defense for 3 to 5 years now. Scatterbo, I believe, came in as the RB. He was like a top 5 RB, I think, this week. He was the RB3 on the week, 24.1 fantasy points. So, and he led the Giants in targets. And I think that's kind of the overlooked side of things, right? He has value straight up. Like it was only a matter of time to see where this split between Tyrone Tracy and Scatterbo came through, right? I don't think any of us really saw it being a week 3 thing. But again, when injuries start creeping up, it provides opportunity for those behind them. And we all knew, even without an injury, Scatterbo was going to have a role. Now it's just happening sooner rather than later. I think he's a top 24 guy with top 15 upside.
Caesar says one of his Superflex leagues, he had Browning and Penix starting.
RIP, homie.
Yeah, I was fine with benching Browning this week, but who would have ever thought to bench Michael Penix except for the Atlanta Falcons at halftime, apparently.
Yeah. Bad.
Yeah, bad.
Everybody's trading. Everybody that traded Hampton is probably sick or shaking their heads right now.
One thing I'll say, the consistent messaging from Club Fantasy has been be patient with rookies. We have said that for every single rookie and is going to start paying off in these next 2 to 3 weeks. So.
Yeah, I mean, and I'll be honest, I was probably the most vocal against Omarion Hampton this offseason.
You and Austin.
And a lot. Yeah, and it all boiled down to he's sharing with Najee Harris. Something needs to happen to Najee Harris for Omarion Hampton to return any kind of value. Well, guess what? Something happened to Najee Harris. Patience paying off. Like, that is what will happen.
Hunter Henry, shake my head on the bench with Hawk. I think those points would have won my match. If Derrick Henry goes off tonight in all 3 leagues, 1-2 record. Yeah, Ryan, you and I were talking about this right before the game. Or right before the show today. We're up against Derrick Henry in a bunch of leagues.
Derrick Henry is going to decide so many matches, but I'll go back to your Hunter Henry point. Imagine being the person who has told everybody to start Hunter Henry for 2 weeks, and you finally shut your mouth about it, and then he goes off. So Hunter Henry does not need my encouragement, clearly.
Good morning, Charlene. Good morning. Good morning. A couple more here. We got Marcus. Would y'all drop Ridley for Pittman?
I maybe for Elike Manor.
Honestly, right now, I would definitely take Pittman over Ridley. I would not take Ridley over Manor. I still believe Ridley is the one in that offense. I mean, he had 7 targets. Granted, he only caught 1 of them, but I think that's probably more on the rookie and then the schemes kind of pushing and covering Ridley kind of thing. Shepard, I'm not. I wouldn't go that far. I don't think Ridley is a flat out drop. Let me just be clear. It's, you know, I'm not. I will wait a month before I truly give up on one of my quote studs, and I still believe in Calvin Ridley. But Pittman was somebody that everybody overlooked that nobody should have overlooked, straight up.
Yep.
Yes, the Colts offense has been a lot better than advertised, but Pittman was always a good wide receiver. It was just a matter of how much are they going to throw in this offense? Well, guess what? You know, they finally got a real quarterback, I guess.
And I was just going to say, and who's throwing in this offense?
So, but yes, depending on the league size, I mean, I'd like to think that you have somebody lower on your roster that you could drop to get Pittman, but if those are the two I'm considering, I will.
Well, yeah. And the second part of your question, well, let's be clear. You mentioned Benson. Benson is your priority. The fact that Benson's out there, Benson's your priority. Whoever you need to drop to get Benson, you get Benson. I'm not dropping Myers for Tucker. This feels like Troy Franklin. This feels like Troy Franklin all over again, folks.
It was garbage time, people. Like, don't overreact to Trey Tucker. The
only
reason I had him in that Gods and Goddesses league was straight up because it's a best ball league.
And because he's in shows with me where I've been talking this guy up as a best ball asset for a year. And I didn't even want him because I fell in love with Dante Thornton. So.
And there goes Ryan breaking up again on us.
Oh, man.
Got Genty, Hampton, Scat, and Benson. Should I wait a few weeks or look to trade now?
I mean, really, it just kind of depends on who I'm moving. I think you've got good value in really all of these guys. Like, I am guessing that you probably don't have. Well, I mean, you probably drafted Genty and Hampton as your starters. I mean, just based on ADP, that's kind of where I would see that. So, I mean, keep 4 running backs. Like, running backs are gold in fantasy football. They drop like flies. Like, you can always find wide receivers on waivers. I wouldn't necessarily be looking to move any of those guys unless somebody straight up overpays me for them.
Yeah, but you're talking about 2 rookies again here with Genty and Hampton, right?
Yes. Yeah. Well, you're talking about 3 rookies. You add Scad. You could factor Benson as another rookie who was terrible his rookie season. So, you know, I mean, I wouldn't look to trade any of these guys. All of them have prime opportunity in front of them. Again, I'm assuming that these are your top 4 backs or 4 of your top 5 backs, right? Like, I don't really see a need to move any of these guys unless somebody straight up overpays me.
Mike Evans will probably go on the IR, so I'm left with BTJ, DJ Moore, Olave, Amanainer, Downs. Should I trade one of my RBs to replace Evans? He's Genty, Kamara, Monty, JK, half point.
Man, if I could find somebody that wants David Montgomery, I would trade him in a heartbeat. I mean, if those are your only 4 running backs, I would be hard-pressed to try to trade one of them, if I'm being honest. Because you need running back depth a lot more than you need wide receiver depth. BTJ struggled, yes. DJ Moore, honestly, what I would be looking to do if I could move DJ Moore and one of those running backs, take advantage of DJ Moore's pop week to improve at wide receiver or get a better running back, that's what I would be looking to do. God, it really sucks that you have the top 2 Saints weapons in Olave and Kamara. Olave, the targets are certainly there. It's just a matter of production. Josh Downs is hit or miss. I mean, that's one of those like lower end roster people for me that if you need to drop somebody for a waiver ad, I'd be okay doing it. I think you're okay at wide receiver. Yeah, like that's really what I would be looking to do is try to pair one of the wide receivers with one of the running backs, maybe improve at running back, or you know, if I could move DJ Moore, that would be the move, in my opinion.
Do you think Connor can drop Hunter at this point? I actually have this question for later on.
I mean, if you're desperate enough, I would not be looking to drop him if I were 2-1 or 3-0. But that's the luxury of having a winning team. Basically, you're winning without him, so you can be patient enough to see the fruition come to play, right? If I'm 0-3 and 1-2, sometimes you got to make those tough decisions, plain and simple. Hunter played more snaps on defense this week than offense, only saw 2 targets on offense. And this was a game that was pretty close throughout the whole time. So they were throwing to Parker Washington a lot more. And sometimes I think that's just going to be the game script with Travis Hunter. I don't love it because I love the talent. But again, depending on your situation, that's what's really going to make the move. But he hasn't really been producing. So sure, drop him if you need to.
One more for him. How patient does he have to be with Jaden Blue?
Oh, you can drop Jaden Blue. Here's the thing. Rookies drafted in the first couple of rounds, that's fine. Be patient on those guys. They were drafted to be cogs within their offense. Jaden Blue was a 5th-round pick. There is quite literally no real draft capital attached to Jaden Blue that the Cowboys say, we need to get our money's worth with this kid. If he hits, great. If not, they'll draft a running back in the top 3 rounds next year.
Double Reds flipping out here. We got to talk about Lad. Less targets than QJ and Allen for 3 straight weeks. Can't do this anymore.
Yeah, this was the worry with Ladd McConkey going so early in drafts. And honestly, this was my worry even before they added Keenan Allen. Justin Herbert has a rapport with all of these guys. But they're so movable in and out of this formation, right? QJ is your X. He's the guy that's mainly going to run on the outside, but just like Keenan Allen and Ladd McConkey, he's going to be moved around this formation because Quentin Johnston is also very valuable just getting the ball in space and doing the things that he does. He's also the biggest of these 3 wide receivers. So he's the guy that they're going to look for in the red zone, and that's come to fruition. He scored, I believe, in 3 straight weeks. Keenan Allen caught the hero ball, right? That was with 2:50 left and whatever it was that he's able to come back and make that play for Justin Herbert. Ladd McConkey is a great wide receiver, but he is best in space. That is where he operates best. So in my opinion, when you have guys like Keenan Allen and Quentin Johnston, Ladd's not going to be the one that Justin Herbert looks at when he needs to get bailed out.
Yeah.
And that, to me, right now is the biggest problem here, is that Ladd is just kind of taking a back seat to those guys, and he doesn't have the same kind of touchdown upside that the other 2 do. Yes, it is fair to worry, but it's fair to worry that you're not going to get the return on investment based on draft cost.
Mm-hmm.
I still think he's going to finish as a top 24 wide receiver, but you've lost investment at that point.
Josh, you may have mentioned
ROI,
this.
Excuse me.
You may have mentioned this at the beginning, Josh, but I also think there's something too. We've been saying this for weeks. The Chargers are throwing more than we expected them to. Last year's offense, you use short and intermediate passes to set up the run. They don't give a fuck about that right now. That's not their game. So
47 pass attempts yesterday.
Yeah. Wow.
Insane. Good morning, Jamie. Good morning, Andrea. And good morning, Millie. You might have to go back to the very beginning of the show. Ryan, had some
I poured one out. I poured one out for Millie yesterday. I did it again this morning.
Had some Kleenex for him. Should I trade Drake for Marvin Harrison Jr. and Travion Henderson? I've got Nico and Sutton hurting at running back. I've got Chuba, Chubb, and Tracy.
I'm assuming this is Drake London.
So Josh, I'm like Kenyon Drake. I'm like, what is happening?
My first thought was Drake May, but yeah, I'm assuming this is Drake London. I have 0 issue with this trade, honestly.
I make this trade immediately.
Yeah, I mean, outside of the big 40% target share week that Drake London had, I believe it was week 18 last year. He's never been higher than wide receiver 19 with Michael Penix at quarterback. So while some of the volume is definitely going to be there, right now I don't see it being much different than what you're getting with Marvin Harrison. This gives you a little bit of running back depth. TreVeyon Henderson is inevitable, right? Like he's going to get there eventually. It's just a matter of when. And if Ramondre Stevenson can't hold on to the damn football, which he had 2 fumbles yesterday, the other backup, Antonio Gibson, also had a fumble yesterday. So TreVeyon Henderson's time is coming. We just don't know when it's going to come, but he also needs to pick up his pass block assignments because we saw that in week 2 where he was whiffing on those. Basically, Mike Vrabel and Josh McDaniel have pretty much shown through 3 weeks that if the guy keeps fucking up, he's going to see the pine, plain and simple. Yep. So as long as TreVeyon Henderson doesn't fumble, which he doesn't have a history of that going back to college, but he can pick up his pass block assignments, he's going to find time on the field, and that's only going to benefit him from a fantasy perspective.
Guys, I have Marvin Harrison's not helping me out much. Should I look into getting a Dunze or Ricky Pearsall off waivers? If they're on waivers, then absolutely. I'm in a card league half.
Standard league. He cracks it later.
Okay. To start 4 wide receivers each week. And should I keep Kittle on the bench?
Yes, keep Kittle.
Keep Kittle.
Get Roma Dunze as quickly as you can. That's his offense. So.
Yeah, I'm guessing this is a pretty shallow league, Craig. If you have to drop Marvin Harrison to get Roma Dunze,
all that matters is that you have Roma Dunze.
Correct. I was nervous about CMC the first few weeks, but feeling confident. 24 points without a TD.
That's what I'm saying. His usage in this passing game is bananas. Congratulations on CMC. That's just
I mean, and that's what we talked about all off season. Like, yes, the injury concerns are there with CMC, but he literally has weekly top 3 upside at the position because of what he's able to do. Like, that is his talent. That's why you take the injury risk when in drafting him.
Let's get 2 more in here real quick. Is Boutte a drop?
Sure.
I mean, if you need to.
Yeah,
depends on he's not putting up superstar numbers by any means.
If Elik's out there, drop Boutte to get Elik without a doubt. So
yep.
How do you feel about T. Higgins rest of the season? I was thinking about trading Jawan for Higgins since I have McBride already.
I mean, that's a fine trade. I'm not upset by that at all, but I'm not confident.
Yeah, I mean, look, I mentioned this throughout the previews this week. Like, I did not love this matchup for Jake Browning. Like, everybody fell in love with the idea of 2023 Jake Browning. The Minnesota Vikings defense is good, and they will make life hell on opposing quarterbacks, especially quarterbacks that don't play very much. This was never set up to be a good week for Jake Browning. So I would not put too much stock in how bad Chase Brown was or how bad T. Higgins was or how bad Jamar Chase was. Like, are we going to get weeks where some of these guys suck? Sure. That's just life with a backup quarterback. But they're not going to play the Vikings defense every week. They're not going to play top 5 defenses every week.
No.
So it's okay to make a trade when you have Trey McBride, trade Juwan Jennings and get T. Higgins. The upside is still there.
Let's get over to the unnecessary shots of Rumplements, the injuries of the week.
What do we got?
Who wants to read them off?
I don't even have the document up because I had to bring everything back up.
An ankle. Chef the reports Connor is done for the year. Najee Harris and Achilles, early indication is done for the year. Tyrone Tracy, shoulder. Mike Evans, hamstring, likely headed to IR. Colston Loveland left with a hip injury. CeeDee Lamb, high ankle sprain. Doesn't look too serious, but again, like Josh said earlier, it is a high ankle sprain. Terry McLaurin with a quad injury. Nick Bosa, possible ACL tear. First tests were inconclusive.
I mean,
just real quick here, I'll jump.
Go ahead.
I'll just quickly jump in on James Conner, because when we're talking about the most significant, maybe Conner and Najee Harris, it's about what they do for the backups here. Everybody was already in on Amari and Hampton. Not enough people were in on Trey Benson, and I think this kid has some juice. I'm very excited for Trey Benson rest of the season, and obviously pour one out for Mike Evans.
Yeah, Ryan Case. Yeah, I mean, I'm not too much worried about a lot like the Terry McLaurin quad injury, CeeDee Lamb high ankle sprain. Okay, like those are one and done kind of things. Obviously, we want to pay more attention to the longer term ones. Mike Evans hamstring. This is the problem with 30-plus-year-old wide receivers. You know, luckily for the Bucs, there's a chance that they get Chris Godwin back. So you're trading one injured wide receiver for a hopefully healthy one, right? Godwin's going to be slow picking up things coming back from the ankle. But hey, Mecca Egbuka is fine. The kid is legit. And if he doesn't see Quinyon Mitchell this week, he's going to light up that Philly secondary because our QB2 is fucking trash. They put Mitchell on Devontae Adams. When facing Quinyon Mitchell, Devontae Adams had 2 catches for 12 yards. That kid is good, plain and simple. So if Egbuka is going to see Mitchell, you can pour one out for his fantasy week. I can promise you that.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Which
losing
likely.
Najee. Yeah, right. The way that that defense is looking.
Well, they're only going to have Egbuka to worry about.
So yeah, I mean, and that's fair. And he basically shadowed Devontae Adams about 60% of the time. So there's I'm not that worried.
Yeah, the only thing I will say on these injuries is, can we please stop using these star wide receivers on jet sweeps? Find somebody else to do that stupidness, because you're putting their ankles in harm's way every time they come across.
For years, we've talked about the short shelf life of running backs, and now we're putting our star wide receivers in that role.
Why not? Just the hell with them. Let's move over to the hangover disappointments of the week. Josh, you want to start this off, or do you want Ryan to?
Yeah, I'll give Ryan a shot, so that way when his microphone I can pick things up.
So real quick, the players we listed who are, I guess, the honorable mentions: Calvin Ridley, 1 catch, 27 yards on 7 targets. Saquon Barkley, not a great game, 55 yards. Chase Brown, 3 rushing yards. Ramondre Stevenson fumbles the ball twice. Ashton Genty gives you 6 fantasy points. And I threw a couple of names on here without stats. Alvin Kamara, Travis Hunter came up in the chat. Troy Franklin, just pour one out for all that fab. That's
what I said. He felt like the flavor of the week.
But we have to address the elephant in the room. Last week, we told everybody, do not panic on the Cincinnati Bengals. And I know, as everyone has pointed out, it's not the Minnesota Vikings every week. But when you look at this team, it was bad. And I want to point out one thing. It won't be Minnesota every week. Are we sure it's going to be Jake Browning every week? That's 5 interceptions in 6 quarters. That's not a great ratio. He's going to need to get his shit together if he's going to keep this job, because they will have to look elsewhere if he's going to turn the ball over at that high of a clip. Jamar Chase, 5 catches for 50 yards, average as it gets. But then nobody else was even average. Higgins, 1 catch for 15 yards. No other wide receiver caught a ball for the team. Mike Gesicki, 1 catch for 6 yards, while Noah Fant somehow catches 5 for 5, but 26 yards, all 5 targets thrown his way. Very weird game. I agree with everybody who's saying it's not Minnesota every week, but I am far more panicky than I was last week. And it's mainly because I'm not willing to guarantee. I said it last week. Jake Browning's their guy. 5 interceptions in 6 quarters is not going to last in the NFL.
Not at all. Not at all. Mine is Jerry Jeudy, because I will never miss an opportunity to shit on Jerry Jeudy. But here's the long and short of it. Everybody felt that Jerry Jeudy's stock would rise because Joe Flacco's at quarterback. Joe Flacco throws the football a ton. He's currently tied for the league lead in pass attempts at 126. Guess what? Hasn't really translated for Jerry Jeudy because Joe Flacco is not Jameis Winston. Jerry Jeudy leads the team currently with 23 targets on the season out of 126. Do the math. That is an 18.2% target share. That's not great for a wide receiver 1 in a pass-heavy offense, apparently. But what we have seen in this pass-heavy offense is their star second-round running back get up to speed after missing all of training camp. He has 28 rush attempts in the last 2 weeks. He had 18 rush attempts this past week compared to 1 for the backup. And he averaged 5.2 yards per carry this week. Kevin Stefanski wants to run the football. Joe Flacco went from 2 straight games with 45 pass attempts to 36. These will slowly creep down. This defense is absolutely lights out. When you how do you complement a good lights out defense? You run the football. That takes the ball out of Joe Flacco's hands. If Joe Flacco's not looking for Jerry Jeudy when he's already throwing a ton, what do you think's going to happen when Joe Flacco's not throwing a ton? Jerry Jeudy's not seeing these targets. So if you spent those mid-round picks thinking you were going to get the kind of value that you got from Jerry Jeudy last season, you are sadly mistaken. Jerry Jeudy is borderline droppable, in my opinion.
Yeah, certainly working his way there.
And I want to give a shout out to a couple honorable mentions here. DJ Moore, DeAndre Swift. I am a little worried. Yes, DJ Moore caught a touchdown this week. Overall, his numbers were just meh, straight up. I would try to use this touchdown and move off of DJ Moore very quickly. This is Rome Odunze's offense. He is here. DJ Moore is taking a backseat, and it would not surprise me one bit if the Bears, continue to struggle and they find a way to move off of DJ Moore at the trade deadline if they're able to find somebody that can take on his salary. But DeAndre Swift just looks cooked. He straight up sucks. This Bears team has zero juice when it comes to their rushing offense. They made the improvements on the offensive line, but it's pretty clear that DeAndre Swift just doesn't fit. And it will not surprise me one bit if he's replaced at some point by Kyle Monangai, who has already taken Roshan Johnson's backup job and likely loses his job next year when the Bears draft a running back.
Yep.
Well, Monangai's got to learn which end zone he's running to first, running towards the wrong end zone. But real quick on DJ Moore, 11 targets for 3 games.
Yeah, that's not going to get it done.
Just imagine if you would use that pick on Amari and Hampton instead of Colston fucking Loveland.
Yeah, right.
A couple comments in the chat real quick. Can I plug Addison right into my lineup next week?
I mean, if Carson Wentz is playing, who would have thought I would say that? Someone in the chat suggested moving Addison with the hype next week. I'm not against that either.
Yeah, I mean, if you can, sure. I'm fine moving him into the starting lineup simply because Carson Wentz isn't afraid to throw the football, and they play the Steelers in Dublin this week, and Steelers' pass defense is kind of ass.
Yeah. They can't just give up on McCarthy. I know we're not spending a ton of time on this.
No, they're not going to. No, yeah. I mean, look, at the end of the day, when your backup quarterback comes in and plays well, it gives the starter actual time to heal, and they don't feel the need to rush him back.
May as well start talking about it now. We got football at 9 a.m. on the East Coast for the next 2 weeks on Sunday, 6:30.
Considering I work Saturday nights, I will probably not be up to watch those games.
Depending on who's playing and how the games are going, your phone might be blowing up. I'm sure Broncos fan in my league wants Sutton and Warren for Rashid Rice. Do I do it? I countered with Warren Sutton for JK and Rice. Which one do I do?
Right now, I don't want any piece of that Chiefs offense.
Yeah, I was just gonna say,
I don't love this deal.
I love Jalen Warren, and his job is going nowhere. I understand Rashid Rice could be a game changer. I prefer running backs, as everybody knows. I'm holding the Warren Sutton side.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I mean, you're going to get some ups and downs with Sutton because that's just the Broncos offense in a nutshell. But I really don't know that Rashid Rice is going to save that offense. I truly don't. They just look so bad right now.
Another one that was throwing the ball backwards last night, which was kind of weird. Charlene says, I'm a Broncos fan. She didn't take the Franklin bait. She did, however, sit Sutton.
Yeah. Where I'm pissed is I actually got Franklin for free the week before he popped and didn't even think to try to trade him this past week. Like, he's just been sitting on my bench in leagues. So
Caesar started to think that Bill's an industry player.
Best comment ever, because I would be the one who was conducting that train. Yeah, I didn't even realize I worked for the industry until now. I am definitely the one who implanted Bill.
Yeah, and I mentioned this in our NPI chat. Like, Chris Rodriguez came out starting basically with this team. He was a healthy scratch the first 2 weeks.
Yep.
Jeremy McNichols had more run initially. They really did not start getting the ball to Bill until the game was already out of hand. For a guy that was supposed to be the starter with Eckler out, he's basically the third running back right now. That's not a good thing. Yes, he scored, so he saved the day, but yeah, I would definitely be a little worried.
And then what also concerns me They threw to their running backs once this whole game. The
And hey,
entire game. It happened to be Bill.
Apparently Bill got the only one. So
The only target. But hey, I just saw that. They threw them once. That's McNichols' role based on last year when dude went down. So
yep.
When Eckler went down.
All right, one more time. Don't forget to hit that like, hit that subscribe. Josh, you want to give us a trophy smack one more time before we move on to the shot of espresso?
Absolutely. The fantasy football season's here, and Trophy Smack is where you want to get all of your rewards. They have trophies, rings, and championship belts, all designed to tell your league mates who the real champion is. So hit the link in the description of this podcast and check out some of the swag that you can get. All of it's available at trophysmack.com/club fantasy.
And once again, I am dropping the Discord link into the chat. Make sure you jump over there, chat with us every game day. Questions, start sets, any of that stuff. We'll have channels for all of that. Shot of espresso, the performance that got the juices flowing. Not very many.
Big list this week. It was a big list.
Yeah. Josh started off.
Yeah, I mean, look, we'll give some props to Trey Tucker. I know a lot of it was in garbage time, but homeboy had 3 touchdown catches over 100 yards, over 40 fantasy points. Absolutely blew away everybody this week. Yeah. Marion Hansen came up big with 6 catches. Caleb Williams, obviously, 4 touchdown passes. Geno Smith doing the thing in garbage time. God, we love garbage time. Love it. Marcus Mariota in a spot start. Jordan Mason, talked about him all week, although he did quite literally nothing in the passing game, which was what I didn't think was going to happen. Yeah. Judkins had a great game. Luther Burden, big 65-yard catch. Ricky Pearsall, great to see the target volume there. Tyquan Thornton, the new wide receiver 1 for the Chiefs, apparently.
Shout out Billy.
Right? Torrey Horton had not 1 but 2 touchdowns, one of them on the on the return game. Hunter Henry, big week, tight end 1. Jake Ferguson, another high target volume week.
Leads the NFL in targets this week.
Yep. And Dalton Kincaid, going back to Thursday night, had himself a pretty big game as well.
Yeah.
Ryan, go ahead and start with yours since I just read all that off.
Yeah. For me, Josh mentioned the guy. I knew Josh was going to take the Eagles and A.J. Brown. He would have been my shot of espresso. Quite literally, I needed this, and it happened. But I think the rest of the world also needed it from Nico Collins. Even though Nico scored a touchdown in week 2, he had been mid as it gets. He's now ranked after this one very good week. He's a top 20 fantasy wide receiver already, creeping his way back up the rankings. His targets have increased every week, 11 targets this week in a close game. Yes, Jaguars defense sucks. Don't care. He caught 8 balls, 13 yards a catch. That's coming off of 17 yards a catch last week. Plus, that's 2 straight games where he finds the end zone. I think fantasy needed this because people were getting way too worried about Nico Collins. He is still the guy. In Houston. Sorry, I was reading Millie's comment. Wasn't it Millie who was all about Tyquan Thornton on the waiver show? Okay, I thought so. Yeah. Giving him credit, and he doesn't even know why. But anyway, Nico Collins in Houston, the guy. Let's not panic too early on players.
Millie doesn't know why because he's still decompressing about yesterday. So
yeah,
had to get your shots in. I see how it is.
Yeah.
We're going to alienate our audience. Good job, Jack.
Oh, no. He gets at me all the time. I think we have that kind of relationship right now. At least,
yeah.
Well, we did. I don't know if we have it anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, we mentioned my guy a little bit earlier in the show, but for me, it's Cam Scatabo. He's somebody that I really enjoyed watching in college, and there were a lot of pundits that were talking about how he could not break tackles in the pros the same way that he could in college. Let me tell you, he's doing exactly what he did in college in the pros, and he's making grown-ass men bounce off of him. He's doing it. Like I said, 6 yards per carry yesterday, 10 carries, 60 yards, and the 1 rushing touchdown, which was a beautiful stretch over the end zone. Good. And the backflip after the fact. Love this kid. He's so much fun. 8 targets, 6 catches, 61 yards, over 10 yards per reception. I mean, look, it's there. And Tyrone Tracy's hurt. I don't know how serious that injury is, but
doesn't matter.
Again, once the genie comes out of the bottle, ain't no putting him back in. So
100%.
Get ready to see a lot of Cam Scatabo. I think he's an RB2 with RB1 upside every single week going forward, even on a bad Giants team. Because let's be honest, Jackson Dart's coming. I don't know when, but he's coming.
Yeah, I did pull Millie up here. Just trying to watch these Philippines today. I'll throw one at you. We got to give Danny Dimes a little bit of love. Leading
So agree.
the number one score.
You need to learn his new nickname. It is Indiana Jones. Okay.
I mean, depending on
Dimes.
which analyst is talking about him, I've heard Danny Diamonds.
Ooh, I hadn't heard that one.
I believe that was Rich Eisen. Danny Diamonds. But leading the number one scoring offense in the NFL, he has 3 passing and 3 rushing touchdowns in the first 3 weeks. But the number that's even more important is 0, a big fat 0 in the turnover column.
And I think 1 punt.
But that 3 touchdown passing, 3 touchdown rushing, and 0 turnovers is the first time it's ever happened in the NFL in the Super Bowl era. He's sitting right now at QB3.
Vanilla Vic.
Can you imagine if he was doing this same thing with the Giants right now? I mean, I don't know what that would look like.
I mean, it just goes to show you how terrible that Giants organization is. And I mean, even their owner, John Mara, came out. He was talking about how they have just quite literally done this kid so wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I just don't understand how Brian Dable still has a job.
I hate throwing strays, but it also shows you what Anthony Richardson is because Shane Steichen is in heaven right now with Danny Dallas running the offense. So,
yep.
Mill, we know. We don't see Ryan. We don't even got to pick on him no more. He just does it for us.
I was in Atlanta for 3 years. Falcons fans are very self-deprecating.
Yep.
So.
Yep. Cat for Lisa, I go after McNichols? All I got is Hall, Bucky, and Mason.
It's Trey Tucker. You're paying for last week. I'm just saying, I like McNichols.
Well, if you want Benson, go get Benson over McNichols. That's the easy one.
Yep.
Yes. I'm not. Here's the thing. I actually added McNichols in 6 leagues on free waivers on Sunday morning. Anyone in leagues with me got a notification. Fantasy 5 added Jeremy McNichols. I will try to trade him in every one of those leagues I can today. So.
Yeah, I mean, the fact of the matter is he's one piece of a rotation.
Exactly.
And in any given week, he could be the top of that rotation. He could be the bottom of that rotation. 100%. And that's really, it's when you have 3 Jags as your running back, it's flavor of the week, just like the Broncos wide receiver core. So,
yep.
Or as Charlene says right here.
And hilariously, McNichols is the oldest of the bunch.
So. Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. He's bounced around this league. Yeah. I think he's 27, Tennessee. 28, Tennessee, San Francisco. He was with the Bucks for a little bit. He's been to a lot of different places. There's nothing special about Jeremy McNichols, plain and simple.
Biggest panic meter for Double Reds is Chase Brown and the poor offense over there. Do you have one right off the top of your head, Brian?
I'm going to be honest. You, Jay, I thought you were we're obviously trying to move the show along, so you skipped yours. I am more panicked about what's happening in Jacksonville than I am with Cincinnati. We know what's happening in Cincinnati. You brought up Travis Hunter, and again, we preach being patient with rookies. He's done nothing, but neither has Brian Thomas. Travis Etienne is that whole offense right now, and my guy Bashal Tootin. So,
yeah, I mean, we had that question that popped up, Ryan, while you were dealing with your technical difficulties. But somebody asked if they could drop Travis Hunter, and quite frankly, I mean, this is what I said: if you're 3-0 or 2-1, I'm okay holding him, because I don't need him. I'm winning without him. But if I'm 0-3 and 1-2, and you got to move off of him, move off of him. Because this was the worry with Travis Hunter. We don't know how much defense he's going to play versus how much offense he's going to play. And quite frankly,
he doesn't even feel like a cheat code in my IDP leagues. I'm like, I could go stream a corner better than him right now.
Well, and that's the other thing too, is even when he's playing defense, teams aren't targeting him the way that they would typically rookie corners. So I just don't. Right now, we're seeing the downside of what the upside was in the offseason.
Yeah.
And this was always the worry with him. It's you're taking the chance that you get the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. But what we're seeing right now is fool's gold, plain and simple.
Cat for Life says his shot of espresso was JSN. First game this year without double-digit targets and 100 yards. Of course, he was sick.
I mean, and anytime you're dealing with illnesses that pop up late in the week, it's always a concern. But this goes back to what we talked about all offseason. The New Orleans Saints are straight up ass. They're one of the worst, if not the worst teams in the NFL. You should have been more worried if JSN didn't do the damn thing this week.
Yeah, that's true.
Very true. Let's get over to chill the fuck out. The dud that was merely a blip on the schedule here. Josh, we'll start off with you.
Yeah, for me, it's Malik Nabers, mostly because it affected a lot of my teams. But this was his first game of his career with fewer than 4 catches.
Really?
Yep. He was second on the team in targets behind Scatabo, who had 8. Nabers had 7. He did leave for a little stretch with an injury. But these are the pitfalls that you deal with when it comes to star players on bad teams. You're going to have some ups and downs. We saw the up last week. Straight up, absolutely went the fuck off against Dallas. And then this week in primetime, Russell Wilson sucked. So guess what? Malik Nabers sucked. Plain and simple. Truthfully, at the end of the day, this Giants team is not great, but also they have arguably one of the toughest schedules in the NFL this year. They don't have a let-up game until week 5 when they play the Saints. They get the Chargers this coming week. The good news is that the Chargers seemingly cannot cover wide receiver ones. They give up 99 yards and 10 catches to Hollywood. They gave up 6 for 68 to Jacoby Myers. And then they gave up over 100 yards to Cortland Sutton this week. So you'll be fine in week 4 with Malik Nabers. Take that for what you will. And then they get the Saints in week 5. I'm not saying, use this opportunity to go trade Malik Nabers, but if I can use this opportunity to trade 4 week Nabers, I 100% will. Fact of the matter is Jackson Dart is coming. We just don't know when, but he's coming.
Yep.
Russell Wilson is just too hot and cold, and they need to see what they have with their young kid. So just give it some time. Malik Nabers will be fine. Like I said, this is the first game in his career, game 18 of his career, where he's had less than 4 catches. Malik Nabers will be fine. Don't fret.
Yeah, I watched like the first half of that game, and I don't know how they can say he had 7 targets, because I know I saw 3 balls that were thrown in his direction, but they were uncatchable. Like these fans in the stands were trying to catch the ball that was that far away from him.
Yeah, I mean, that Kansas City pass rush was always going to be a problem for Russell Wilson as well. So this was a game, like Josh said, that was to be expected. And I'll jump in with mine because it was another one that was to be expected. That Browns defense is legit, and we need to remember that. The back-to-back plays where Jordan Love was sacked, the first one was just a shot. That boy got smacked from behind, had no idea it was coming. And then the very next play, Myles Garrett and I think it was Shelby Harris converged on him and wrecked him again. He was sacked 5 times this week. This was just the worst possible time for Green Bay to play Cleveland. Tucker Kraft is banged up. They just lost Jaden Reed. They are trying to figure an offense out against one of the best defenses in football. The fact of the matter is Jordan Love is still the QB 10. After this dud in Cleveland, Jordan Love is still the QB 10 in fantasy, and I think he's a fine value moving forward. The issue, he also has a week 5 bye. So right now you're going to see a lot of people panicking on Love. I'm probably not holding the QB 10 through bye depending on how big my league is, but I'm just saying I think the kid's going to be absolutely fine. It's not the Browns every week.
A couple more questions in here before we get over to the Monday Night Football. So are y'all saying don't panic on the Bengals players and just hold them? Because I'm at the point where I want to put Chase Brown on the block.
I'm moving Brown. I'm moving off of Higgins. I think Josh disagrees with me a little bit. Jamar Chase is the only player I'm not worried about.
Yeah, I mean, I said this even in the offseason. This was before, Joe Burrow's injury. T. Higgins is the one who's going to be hot and cold. Like, you were paying primo prices for a wide receiver 2 based on a fluky touchdown season. He's 1,006 guy every single year. We know what T. Higgins is. You were paying for the upside with Joe Burrow. So right now he comes back down to earth. He's a top 30 wide receiver that's hot and cold week in and week out. That's what T. Higgins is. So, you should know that if you drafted him, plain and simple. The problem is that you probably paid way too high a price. So that's why you're panicking so much on T. Higgins. Chase Brown, like I said, I'm fine moving off of him, but just right now you're just not gonna get any kind of value in return. So he just becomes an RB2 for you versus the RB1 that you paid for.
That's fair too.
BTJ wrist injury similar to Tyreek Hill last year. Just playing, but can't really catch some of those balls.
Josh, you were all about this injury for Hill last year, so I wonder if it is something similar.
I could very well be. I mean, again, I'm not a doctor, so I'm not going to profess to understand the variations and differences of wrist injuries. But the biggest thing is BTJ is just plain scared. Like when he goes over the middle, he's afraid he's going to get hit. And he's going to get hit hard. And it's just not, it's not how you play football. Like you get hit in football. So if you're scared to take a hit, you need to take the shoulder pads off and sit out, plain and simple.
I'm going to get over to Cap for life, but he's got like 3 of them in here. We can answer this one real quick. Do I pick up the Browns or the Chiefs defense and drop the Falcons?
Browns have Detroit. Chiefs have Baltimore. You're not starting either of those defenses this week. Maybe the Browns against Detroit because Jared Goff will turn the ball over. I think it's in Detroit, though. Cleveland at Detroit. I don't know who I'm telling you to pick up yet, but I'm not rushing to get either of those 2 defenses.
Fair. He also says he's trading BTJ and Hall for Benson. Do I do it? To elaborate a little bit more, he's 2-0. If the Lions crap the bed tonight, he'll be 3-0, down by 10. Do I stand down on the trade?
I wouldn't trade one of those guys straight up for Trey Benson. I like the kid, but not that much. Let's keep your studs. That's a panic move, Cap. First of all, there's a better trade out there for you. Let your league know you're willing to trade Brian Thomas Jr. and Hall, and let the offers flow to you. It's way better than Trey Benson.
Yeah, that's definitely a panic move. Like I said, I'm not willing to.
And you're undefeated. Don't even. You have no reason.
Yeah, that's the other side of it too. Yeah, you don't need to panic yet.
Yeah,
you're winning in spite of their underperformances.
Yeah, he's gonna drop his lineup in the Discord.
One thing I want to point out, and Josh will agree with me on this. If you want me or Josh to help in the Discord, tag us, because I will get a notification if I tag. I am in too many Discords right now and I will miss things. I try to be as present as I can in the Club Fantasy, but if you tag me and it's just add our names, we will definitely take care of you. So
yeah, 100%.
If Henry hadn't come off a monster workload early in the season, I think the Cleveland game is different for Baltimore.
Maybe. I mean, Josh Jacobs really wasn't great either. So
yeah, Cleveland.
Maybe it's okay to say that Cleveland has a really good run defense.
Yeah. Maybe it's okay to be like, man, Cleveland should have tried to get an established quarterback this offseason and not wasted their entire
life. Not wasting picks on Shedeur Sanders.
His name is Joe Flacco. I have Williams and Hurts. Would y'all move Hurts for Benson and Pittman and need a running back? I need a running back 3 and a better flex.
I feel like there's a better deal out there. Like,
but this is the problem though with 1 QB leagues. Star quarterbacks don't net any kind of return. Like there's no benefit to having 2 really good quarterbacks in a 1 quarterback league.
You're not
going to get a wide receiver 1 for your QB1. You're not going to get an RB1 for your QB1. Your best bet is to get, say it with me, Ryan, flex depth.
Flex depth, maybe.
And in that case, I would much rather just trade Caleb Williams. Like, let me keep my stud.
Yeah.
Caleb Williams, I would be more willing to trade,
especially after this
week, an upside RB2 or a, upside wide receiver 3. Like that would be the kind of move that I would be okay making. I want to hang on to my stud. The only way I'm parting with Jalen Hurts is if I get a stud in return. And people just don't make those trades.
Yeah, see what you mentioned running back is important. Don't worry so much about flex depth. Worry about that RB3 role. See what running back you can get for Caleb Williams. If the Trey Benson manager needs a quarterback, Caleb Williams for Trey Benson feels like the kind of trade that could go down.
And I would be 100% okay with that. Yep.
I agree.
And it's a little early for this in the week, but Breece Hall at Miami versus Miami, Hampton versus the Giants, Scatterboo versus the Chargers, Dobbins versus Cincinnati. Start 1 in the flex.
It's a great question. I'm going to pick the best offense and go Amari and Hampton. There's a case for Breece Hall. There's a case for Dobbins. The only one I'm not starting is Scatterbo just because I like that Chargers defense. So,
yeah, I mean, Cincinnati's run defense has been pretty decent this season. Chargers were typically a good run defense.
Jordan Mason just walked Cincinnati. But
let's be honest, though, that I don't take much stock into that game simply because they were up so big anyway.
Well, Denver might be too.
Yeah, right. I mean, I think Brees has the best matchup, truthfully. I think
I say Brees and Hampton I like a lot.
Brees Hall I like. But again, I want to see what quarterback trots out. Like if it's Justin Fields, then give me Brees Hall. But if it's Tyrod Taylor, I might be more willing to pivot to Hampton.
And this would be the appropriate time to mention Wednesday show. We really start to focus on the following week, and Saturday we go on live from 11 to noon where we just answer start sit questions.
Yeah. So check back, Adrian. If you're not following us, hit that like and subscribe on the video. Join the Discord, all that good stuff, man. We got you.
Yep. Let's get into tonight's game. We got the Detroit Lions at the Baltimore Ravens. 4-point favorite for the Ravens. Over under is 53.5. Don't forget, you can sign up with Underdog using the code WOFF, claiming a free pick and a first-time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus cash. After the first 2 weeks, I currently sit at 5-4 overall. Week 1 was rough, went 1-4, but we bounced back last week with a 3-1 performance. So we're right there. We gotta get over that 500 hump there. We had a good solid day yesterday. I was showing Ryan and Josh in the chat. We had a good day yesterday. Very good day. We hit the ladder and a 4 or 5 leg parlay with the Bucks Jets game. This week, I am hanging my hat on DeAndre Hopkins. Higher than 1.5 receptions. He's 2 receptions in every game this year. I know it's only 2 games into the season. As long as he gets the same production, I don't give a damn.
He's also second on the Ravens in target share.
That's all really interesting. Exactly.
Yep. That's all I need. You can see the rest of the 4-leg parlay after the show over in our Discord. Josh, Ryan, either one of you have, it looks like you both have a favorite underdog.
We actually remembered this week.
Yes.
I'll go with Derrick Henry to score a touchdown. It was a bad week last week, but Detroit has allowed a running back touchdown, a running back rushing touchdown in each of the first 2 weeks. Henry coming off this terrible week. This feels like a lock. It's not even positive money on Underdog. It's like 0.76, but it's one that I'm happy to throw into a 4-leg parlay just to get some free money. So
absolutely.
Yeah, mine's Jared Goff over 0.5 interceptions. Much like Ryan said with the Derrick Henry touchdown. Jared Goff, it's not plus money to get an interception, which tells you he's probably due. And I've said this leading up to today. Jared Goff just came off of a 5-touchdown game. This is the type of game where he reverts back to the Jared Goff that we make fun of.
And it's outdoors.
Jared Goff traditionally does not do well in weather conditions. So I like the over on the interceptions.
And it's
higher because it's underdog.
I just want to look it up real quick. I just want to see what we got here because I want to throw this in and just going to throw it all together. The 3 legs that we just did. You said interception here for.
While Jay's calculating that, someone's been pointing out in the chat for us all week long. Goff and the Lions got boat raced the last time they played Baltimore. So picking on Goff to throw a pick is a fun one.
Of course it is.
Well, and I mean, anytime we get to pick on Jared Goff, it's a fun one. So
3.27.
There you go. 3 extra money.
You take all that right there. It's free money. All right, guys, let's get the hell out of here. Don't forget, make sure you hit that like, hit that subscribe, jump over to the Discord where you can get a lot more. Do we have any more questions?
There's one from Steve.
One singular question.
Thoughts on Gadsden? All of a sudden getting 7 targets.
I love this kid. I'll throw in big Syracuse guy here. Always been a Syracuse fan since Donovan McNabb days. Now I live about 2 hours from Syracuse. Love this kid. Think he's going to be good, but I want to take the second part of your question, Steven. He is not worth yanking off of your taxi squad yet. Give it 2 more weeks. Save him on. I'll tell you right now, I held Emeka Egbuka on 2 taxi squads until this week because I just wanted to see how everything was going to play out. I saved my taxi squad for as long as I can. Give it about 2 more weeks. If you see steady target volume, 4 to 6 targets a game, pull him off. Otherwise, leave him there.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with Gadsden. 1 game is not going to let me yank him off a taxi squad. I want to see some level of consistency with it. For transparency, I have Gadsden on a couple of taxi squads. I also have 1 league where I put Quinshon Judkins on my taxi squad because he didn't play at all in the preseason. He didn't sign his contract until week 1. And now there's a possibility that he might get suspended during the season. So why would I burn a roster spot if he's not even going to be there? Right.
Yep.
It's okay to keep good players on your taxi squad. Like, it's fine.
Especially a tight end.
Yeah. Especially a tight end. Correct. Yeah. I understand the allure.
It's a great question. Honestly, it's a great strategy premium.
Yeah. But yeah, definitely wait and see. They drafted the kid because they like him and they want to use him. But he has 3 really good wide receivers. So you're at best looking at the 4th or 5th target anyway. That's not going to come to fruition and really pay off for burning that taxi squad.
He could be so fun next year when Keenan retires, though. So
I wholeheartedly agree with that.
Yeah.
All right, once again, don't forget, remember to like and subscribe over here on YouTube, over on Apple, Spotify, any other podcast platform that you are on. Hit the follow button and never miss anything fantasy football content related that Club Fantasy FFL puts out there. Make sure you join us over in the Discord as well. And don't forget, tomorrow morning, 11 a.m., Ryan, Josh, wiretapped, giving you the top waiver wire ads for week 4. And then hang around till about 10 p.m. in the evening. Sam Holt, Derek Tate, women of fantasy football sideline banter as they look ahead to week 4. Guys, great show. Glad week 3 is almost over. Hopefully we have a better game tonight than we did last night. Until next week, y'all, enjoy.